Okay.
Thank you so much. So hello everybody, welcome back to the Days of Miracle program. Today we are, I had to look it up on the calendar, on the 8th day. Halfway through almost. This is how time flies, precious time. So welcome back everybody, welcome back Venerable Namjong. So kind of you to extend these prayer sessions, so much needed in this world right now. And today is a special day, especially for the Tibetans, but for all of us, because without the kindness of the Tibetans, we wouldn't be here today. So today is Tibetan Uprising Day. And maybe Venerable Namjong can mention something about that. So this is also the time to remember the kindness of the Tibetans, the kindness of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, many of our spiritual teachers. Thank you so much, Venerable Namjong, and I give the microphone to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Venerable Kunpen, Pemala, all the other good folks at Tushita Dharmasala, for all the hard work in hosting this wonderful series of events over the Days of Miracles, the first 15 days of the Tibetan New Year. And of course, thank you to all of you who are attending. This is really a time of need for the world. And so I appreciate all of your individual efforts to come. And I do want to say, although he will be embarrassed, but I'm very happy to see a dear friend of mine, Tibetan Namgyal, who is come. So Tibetan Namgyal is actually from the Ukraine, and we met actually at a beginner's course hosted by Tushita Dharmasala. So he came with his sister, and you know, now you see him. He's ordained. He's in actually in Kopan Monastery right now, and he is only able to stay for 45 minutes because he is going to be offering the water bowls in Rinpoche's house. So to the Namgyal, are you embarrassed yet? He has not only been offering service at Rinpoche's place in Kopan, but also in the retreat house in the state of Washington, the Amitabha retreat land is where he had stayed before. And so, yeah, I consider you, maybe if you don't, but I consider you to be one of the most fortunate beings in the whole world to be able to offer a service like that to your guru, to be ordained. And so even though now, actually, he was telling me before, his family is in Sumi, which is right on the border, and has been shelled. It's being evacuated right now. So it's a very difficult time for you and many of your loved ones. So I very much appreciate, you know, the efforts you're making, both for yourself and for all sentient beings. And so now all of those who are supporters of Tushita, then you see how important a place like that is, where it draws people from all over the world. They're able to meet the authentic Dharma teachings. And then, you know, of the hundreds that come, then fewer continue, and then even some will continue on to be able to be in a position to offer great service to their gurus and sending beings. So that also is a reminder now for all of us why we all need to be enlightened, why we all need to do the best with our lives, with our practice, because although there are many Buddhas who have appeared in the past, although there are many Buddhas that are now existing in this world, then still, even though there's great beings like Lama Zopa Rinpoche, His Holiness Dalai Lama, here in this world, yet still we see all these problems are cropping up in the degenerate time. So it's then, when we go through our daily lives, there's so many people, that we meet that have never met His Holiness, that have never met Lama Zopa Rinpoche. But we have the chance to interact with them. We have the chance, the opportunity to do something meaningful, benefit them in whatever small way we can. And in that way, even when we meet a beggar in the street and we're able to give them some food to eat, then we're alleviating a type of suffering that all the other Buddhas who've appeared in the past, all the other Buddhas appearing in the present, have not been able to alleviate. Do you understand that? So now, without delay of even a second, right, we need to attain the state of complete enlightenment, because once we do, then all those beings that we have a unique karmic connection with, our family members, the people in our towns and our communities, we'll be able to guide them in the most effective way to enlightenment. Just like the Buddha, gave his teaching in Sarnath, and his first 5 disciples were able to gain liberation in that very first turning of the wheel of Dharma. So we too, when we attain enlightenment, will have those similar disciples that just by hearing one stanza of Dharma from us, they'll be liberated. They'll be able to, traverse the path in the most effective manner. So now, how do we do that? Well, since the attainment of enlightenment is not without causes and not without conditions, we need to then accumulate those causes for enlightenment. We also need to abandon all of the obstacles that would keep us from attaining enlightenment. Therefore, we need to purify our mind. And the very best way to purify our mind, yes, they talk about prostrations, mandala offerings, all these kinds of things, but the best way is actually to follow our guru's advice. And we know that our guru, we sent that out in the email with folded hands. He was beseeching all of us to recite the Golden Light Sutra as much as we can. And so now that's what we're doing here. We're following our guru's advice. We're reciting the Golden Light Sutra for the benefit of all sentient beings, not just the sentient beings of this world, not just the sentient beings. Yeah, we say we're doing it for world peace, but actually we should think more than that. Any world system, of the 10 directions, wherever there are sentient beings, right? They all want happiness. They all want to avoid suffering. And so we're doing this for every single one, every single, being in the entire universe. Okay. All right. And therefore we're going to, do this sutra recitation so we can quickly purify our minds of all the obscurations and accumulate the vast stores of merit and transcendental wisdom so we can quickly become fully enlightened Buddhas. And then we'll be able to guide all sentient beings to do the exact same thing. So with that, okay. Sorry, first the preliminaries. So now we visualize all the sentient beings in the space around us. And we now think that, oops. Sorry about that. Oh, yo. Oh my gosh, no, I don't want to try. Okay. We visualize our guru in the aspect of Shakyamuni Buddha in the space in front of us. We're visualizing all sentient beings in the space around us. We think that we're doing this practice for them. And then we're calling the good qualities of the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha and aspiring to attain those qualities within our own mind stream. Then there's no choice. We must devote ourselves to the three jewels of refuge. We must reaffirm our commitment in practicing the Dharma as the Buddha taught and relying on the Sangha as support. So with that in mind, we go for refuge. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Assembly by my practice of giving and the other perfections. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Assembly. By my practice of giving and the other perfections, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Assembly. By my practice of giving and the perfections, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. So now the 7 prayer. Reverently, I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind. So remember, with each line, please don't just recite the words, but also, meditate. So think you're prostrating with countless bodies. All the sentient beings around us are prostrating. Also to the field of merit. Next, I present clouds of every type of offering, actual and imagined. So here again, as we know, the extensive benefits from worshiping the sublime golden light with incense. We're going to light incense on behalf of all sentient beings again. So, Om Ahom, Om Ahom, Om Ahom, Om Ahom. If you have incense in your own place, you can also light it now if you haven't already. Om Ahom, Om Ahom, Om Ahom. So then, actually arranged means all those that we've laid out here. Then we can imagine these offerings pervading the entire realm of space. And we offer all of that to the 10 directions, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, statues, stupas, and scriptures, all inseparable from our own Guru. Then I declare all my negative actions accumulated since beginningless time. So thinking in particular the 3 types of vows. And then all of the heavy karmas accumulate in relation to the 3 jewels, accumulate in relation to our gurus. So for beginningless time, all these negative actions confess and rejoice in the merit of all holy and ordinary beings. So thinking how merit is the source of the cause of all happiness and success, all the way up to and including the state of enlightenment, comes from the accumulation of merit. So therefore, when we hear about others or ourselves accumulating merit, it should make us extremely happy. So think how wonderful it is that we've accumulated merit in the past, that we are now accumulating merit in the present. And then thinking of others, how many, very diligent practitioners there have been. Kunpen mentioning today is the Tibetan Uprising Day. So now all those, generations of Tibetans who upheld the Dharma teachings, who practiced well, who continued the lineage of these teachings to present day. And then particularly all those who came across the mountains, across the Himalayas to India, including our very precious Guru, His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And then more generally thinking about all the various lineage masters who upheld the Buddha's teachings from the time of the Buddha. 17 Nalanda Pandits, all the Nalanda masters and so forth. How amazing. And then more generally thinking about all the bodhisattvas, all the Buddhas who, similarly devote their lives to benefiting sentient beings, propagating the Dharma teachings. How wonderful, how amazing, how wonderful. So then, thinking about our gurus, then we request them to please remain until the end of psychic existence and turn the wheel of Dharma for living beings. I dedicate my own merits and those of all others to the great enlightenment. Short mandala offering. This ground anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, with 4 continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this is a Buddha field and offer it. May all living beings enjoy this pure land. I prostrate and go for refuge to the Guru and the 3 precious gems. Please bless my mind. I'm requesting you to immediately pacify all the wrong conceptions, from incorrect devotion to the Guru up to the subtle dual view of the white, red, and dark visions that exist in my mind and the minds of all mother sentient beings. I'm requesting you to immediately generate all the right realizations from Guru devotion up to enlightenment in my mind and the minds of all mother sentient beings. I'm requesting you to pacify all outer and inner obstacles to actualizing the entire graduated path to enlightenment in my mind and in the minds of all mother sentient beings. And just do it once. Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kam Niratayami. So this merit multiplying mantra. Tayata Om Dare Dare Bindare Soa. 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 Tayata Om Dare Dare Bindare Soha. And then keeping in mind these 2 visualizations. First, that as we recite, then we think that the Buddha is actually giving us the teachings directly. And we actualize the realizations in our heart as we recite. Or in addition to that, we can also think that as we recite, we're giving the teaching to all the sentient beings we have visualized in the space around us, as well as any sentient beings that might be within earshot. So then as they hear the teachings, then they receive all the realizations of the profound meaning of the sutra, and they're also liberated from their delusions, defilements, karma, and suffering. Chapter 9, Shri. Then the great goddess Shri said this to the Tathagata, Venerable Transcendent Victor, I, the great goddess Shri, will also give delight and well-being to that bhikshu who expounds the Dharma. I will offer garments, food, bedding, medicine, to treat illness, and many excellent articles to ensure that the bhikshu who expounds the Dharma has excellent resources, attains freedom from poverty, is sound in mind, has peace of mind day and night, retains various words and syllables of the King of Glory Sutra, Sublime Golden Light, examines them and expresses them lucidly, so that sentient beings may plant roots of virtue under hundreds of thousands of Buddhas, that the King of Glory Sutras, the Sublime Golden Light, may long exist in Jambudvipa and may not quickly disappear, that beings may hear the King of Glory Sutras, the Sublime Golden Light, and experience divine and human pleasures for hundreds of thousands of millions of eons, that famine may not occur, that there may be bountiful crops, and beings may have everything that promotes happiness, be with the Tathagatas, and in the future awaken to supreme and perfect enlightenment, and the suffering of beings in the hells, the animal world, and the world of Yama may be utterly ended. At one time, there was a fully enlightened Tathagata called Arhat called Ratna Kusu Maguna Sagara Ravaidriya Kanaka Kagiri Suvana Kachanda Prabhashri Sasri, under whom the great goddess Shri planted roots of virtue. Now she ponders over different directions, watches over different directions, and goes to different directions. She brings well-beings to numerous hundreds of thousands of millions of beings, providing them with food, drink, wealth, grain, shells, gold, jewels, pearls, lapis, conchas, crystal, coral, silver, and pure unwrought gold. Those beings will not suffer any shortage of other items either. They will receive everything they need and use. Through the power of the goddess Shri, they will pay homage to the Tathagata. They will offer flowers, incense, and perfume. If the name of the great goddess Shri is said 3 times, if flower, incense, perfume are offered to that Tathagata, and if food and of various tastes and flavors are offered too, then the mass of grain will greatly increase. Thus, here it is observed, the earth's nutrients will grow in the earth, the gods will always rejoice, the deva of fruits, crops, shrubs, and bushes will make every crop flourish in all conditions. The great goddess Shri remembers those beings who recite the name of this King of Glory Sutras, Sublime Golden Light. Thus will they be accorded great glory. The great goddess Shri resides in the palace Da Kavati in the glorious park Punya Kusuma Prabha, in the sublime abode called Suvarna Davaja, made of 7 jewels. Whoever wishes to increase the mass of grain should thoroughly clean his house, bathe well, well perfumed, don clean white garments, paying homage to Ratna Kusumaguna Sagara Vaiduraya Kana Kagiri Survana Kanchana Prabhasas Shri, the Tathagata, the Arhat, the fully enlightened one. They should say his name 3 times. With the assistance from the great goddess Shri, they should worship the Tathagata by offering flowers, perfumes, and incense, as well as food of various tastes and flavors. They should recite the name of the King of Glory Sutras, Sublime Golden Light, 3 times. They should say the words of truth. Likewise, if the great goddess Shri is venerated, if flowers are offered as well as perfume and food of various tastes and flavors, then through the power of the King of Glory Sutras, the Sublime Golden Light, the great goddess Shri will watch over that house. The mass of grain in that house will increase. Those who wish to invoke the great goddess Shri should remember the following mantras. Homage to all past, present, and future Buddhas. Homage to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Homage to Bodhisattvas such as Maitreya. Paying homage to them, I will employ the following mantras. Through these mantras, may I receive success. Saya, Daya, Tedana, Prati Purnavare. Samanta Darshane, Maha Biha Gate. Samanta Vedana Gate, Maha Karnamya Prati Prabhane. Sattva Artha Samata Nuprapure Ayana Dharmata Maha Bodhigine Maha Maitriye Pasa Mihihe Hita Shi Samgrihite Tesa Matana Nu Palani. When conferring the initiation from the crown, these are unfailing words that perfectly grant realization of emptiness in one magic word of suchness. Beings who are placed in the middle with roots of virtue, free from unspeakable negativity, should recite and hold this mantra for 7 years and observe this 8 precept ordination. Then, so that they and all sentient beings may complete the wisdom of the omniscient, they should offer flowers and incense to the Buddhas in the morning and afternoon and say, may my wishes be swiftly fulfilled. Whether in a monastery or forest retreat, they should clean that dwelling, draw a circle of cow dung, offer incense and perfume, and provide clean seats. Scattering loose flowers on the ground, they should be seated. Then, in that very moment, the great goddess Shri will appear and remain in that place. She will ensure there is never poverty in that house, village, city, town, monastery, forest, retreat. That place will be replete with all equipment, gold, jewels, wealth, and grain. Beings will be made comfortable with everything that provides comfort. Whatever roots of virtue they gather, the major share should be offered to the great goddess Shri. Then, as long as they live, she will remain in that place, and all their wishes will be fulfilled. This ends the 9th chapter. The chapter on Shri, the great goddess, from the King of Glory Sutras, the Sublime Golden Light. Chapter 10. Chapter on the Earth Goddess Juda. Homage to the Bhagavan Tathagata Ratnashikan. Homage to the Bhagavan Tathagata Bhima Lo Java La Ratna Rashmi Prabha Saketu. Homage to the Tathagata Survana Jambudva Jakana Chana Ba. Homage to the Tathagata Survana Ba Sagarba. Homage to the Tathagata Survana Shatara Shmi Prabha Saketu. Homage to the Tathagata Survana Ratna Karachatrakuta. Homage to the Tathagata Survana Pushpojva Lara Shmiketu. Homage to the Tathagata Mahapradipa. Homage to the Tathagata Ratna Ketu. Homage to the Bodhisattva name Ruchira Ketu. The Bodhisattva name Survana Ba Sotama. The Bodhisattva name Survana Na Garva. The Bodhisattva named Sada Prarudita. The Bodhisattva named Dhammagata. Homage to the Tathagata in the east named Akshobhya. In the south, the Tathagata named Ratnaketu. In the west, the Tathagata named Amitayus. In the north, the Tathagata named Dundu Bishvara. Whoever holds, recites, and commits to memory the names of these Tathagatas and Bodhisattvas will all remember their past lives. Then the earth goddess Judah said this to the Tathagata: O venerable transcendent victor, now and in the future, in villages, cities, towns, valleys, forest retreats, valleys of medicinal shrubs or palaces, wherever the King of Glory Sutras, the Sublime Golden Light, remains, then, O venerable transcendent victor, I, Judah, the earth goddess, will go to those places, whether villages, cities, towns, valleys, forest retreats, valleys of medicinal shrubs or palaces. O venerable transcendent victor, wherever the King of Glory Sutras, the Sublime Golden Light, is expounded well and at great length, wherever the throne for the expounded Bhikshu is set up, and wherever the expounding Bhikshu takes that seat, and perfectly teaches the King of Glory Sutras, the Sublime Golden Light, O venerable transcendent victor, I, Judah, the earth goddess, will go to those very places, invisible. I will go to the underside of the Dharma throne. With my most sublime head, I will support the expounding Bhikshu by the soles of his feet. I will listen to the Dharma too, and satisfy myself with Dharma nectar. I will fully honor him. I will fully worship him. I will become content. I will complete deeds of honor. Being pleased, I will greatly enrich the essential nutrients of the earth, from the mass of the earth 68,000 leagues in extent to the Vajra base of the ground. I will do homage and consummate it. On the top too, I will moisten this earth sphere to the limits of the ocean with the essential oil of the earth. I will make this great earth glow with radiant luster. Therefore, the grasses, bushes, medicinal shrubs, and forests in this Jambudvipa will grow very lustrous. All variety of parks, forests, stately trees, leaves, flowers, fruits, and crops will become extremely lustrous too. They will have sweet fragrance, essential oil, and delicious taste. They will be beautiful to behold and be great in size. These beings will seek rich varieties of drink and food. Using these, they will greatly grow in longevity, complexion, and strength. Growing in majesty, strength, and complexion, and possessing robust bodies, they will work to accomplish hundreds of thousands of different activities on this earth. They will persevere. They will strive. They will perform actions that lend strength. O venerable transcendent victor, through these means, Jambudvipa will be at peace, have good crops, prosper, and abide in the state of serene joy. It will be populated by many human beings. All beings in Jambudvipa will be happy, and will experience a myriad of joy. These beings will have great complexion, robust bodies, charisma, and strength. For the sake of the King of Glory Sutra, the Sublime Golden Light, I will go towards the Bhikshu, Bhikshuni, Upasaka, or Upasika, who upholds this King of Sutras and who sits upon the Dharma seat. Having gone there, for the well-being, happiness, and sake of all sentient beings, and with a very lucid mind, I will request those expounders to teach the King of Glory Sutras, the Sublime Golden Light, at great length. Why? Because if the King of Glory Sutras, the Sublime Golden Light, is clearly taught, then I, Judah, the Earth Goddess, along with my attendants, will come to have intense luster and immense strength. The teaching will generate in our bodies great strength, joy, resilience, and might. Our bodies will gain excellent charisma and joy. O venerable transcendent victor, I, Judah, the Earth Goddess, will be satisfied by this Dharma nectar. Upon obtaining great charisma, strength, perseverance, and might, the essential earth nutrients of this Jambudvipa of 7,000 will increase immensely. The great earth will become lustrous. O Venerable Transcendent Victor, the beings who rely on the earth will increase, grow, and expand. They will become great. After beings who live on this earth have become great, they will enjoy material well-being and a variety of useful things. They will experience happiness. They will enjoy food and drink, various dried fruits, clothes, bedding, dwellings, houses, palaces, parks, rivers, ponds, springs, lakes, small lakes, and water holes. Such various resources and amenities that exist on earth are sourced from the earth and are earth dependent. Because of this, O Venerable Transcendent Victor, all beings will be grateful and will repay my kindness. Undoubtedly, they will respect, listen to, honor, venerate, worship the King of Glory Sutras, divine golden light. O Venerable Transcendent Victor, beings will leave from their separate homes and separate clans in order to be in the presence of the expounder of the Dharma. Upon arriving there, they will listen to the King of Glory Sutras, divine golden light. After hearing it, they will return to their respective clans, houses, villages, and towns, those in their homes, and to one another they will say, "Today we have heard the profound Dharma. Today we hold an inconceivable massive merit. The act of listening to the Dharma has delighted hundreds of thousands of millions of Tathagatas. By listening to the Dharma today, beings in the hells will be completely freed. Beings in the world of Yama, animals, and hungry ghosts will be completely freed too. By listening to the Dharma today in the future, for many hundreds of thousands of rebirths, we will be reborn as gods and humans. If those who reside in separate homes were to show other beings even just one example from the King of Glory Sutras, divine golden light, or were to make other beings hear just one chapter from the King of Glory Sutras, divine golden light, one account of past events, the name of just one bodhisattva, the name of one Tathagata, one stanza of 4 lines, just one word, or even just the name of the King of Glory Sutras, divine golden light, or O Venerable Transcendent Victor, if these different beings in various places were to state this sutras, various lines of reasoning to another beings, or make them hear or narrate an account, then, Venerable Transcendent Victor, all those places will become extremely lustrous. The various earth nutrients and resources will grow profusely in those places for the sake of all beings will increase and greatly expand. All beings in turn will be in a state of well-being. They will have great wealth and resources and will be inclined to generosity. In the 3 jewels, they will have great faith. After being addressed in this way, the Tathagata said to the earth goddess Dridra, O Dridra, the earth goddess, if any being hears even one word from the King of Glory Sutras, divine golden light, then after dying from this world, they will be born among the gods in the heaven of the 33, O earth goddess, in order to venerate the King of Glory Sutras, divine golden light. If any being adorns those places by raising even a single umbrella, a single flag, or a single piece of cloth, those adorned places, O earth goddess, will become divine palaces made of 7 jewels, adorned with every ornament, amid the 7 classes of gods dwelling in the desired realm. When those beings transmigrate from this world of humans, they will be reborn in those divine palaces made of the 7 jewels. O earth goddess, those beings will be reborn 7 times in each of the divine palaces made of the 7 jewels. They will experience inconceivable divine bliss. After he spoke thus, the earth goddess Dridra addressed the Tathagata in this way. Therefore, Venerable Transcendent Victor, I, Dridra, the earth goddess, will dwell in those earth regions which abide under the seat of the bhikshu who ascends to the Dharma throne, so that the King of Glory Sutras, the divine golden light, may last long in Jambudvipa for the benefit of beings who have planted roots of virtue under hundreds of thousands of Buddhas, that it might not disappear quickly, that beings in turn may hear the King of Glory Sutras, the divine golden light, may in the future time experience inconceivable well-being of gods and humans for numerous hundreds of thousands of millions of eons, be in the company of the Tathagatas, and in the future awaken to supreme and complete enlightenment, and that the suffering of hell beings, the animal world, and the world of Yama may be completely cut off. I will make my body invisible and lean the supreme part of the body, my head, upon the souls of the bhikshu who expounds the Dharma. This ends the 10th chapter, the chapter on the earth goddess Dridra, from the King of Glory Sutras, the Sublime Golden Light. Chapter 11, chapter on Samjnana. Then the great general of the Yakshas, called Samjana, along with 28 great generals of the Yakshas, rose from his seat, put his upper robe over one shoulder, and then knelt his right knee on his right knee, bowing in reverence in the direction of the Tathagata. He addressed the Tathagata in this way: O Venerable Lord, now or in a future time, in villages, cities, towns, valleys, forest retreats, hilly medicinal valleys or palaces, wherever the King of Glory Sutras, Lamb, Golden Light exists, O Venerable Lord, I, Samyana, the great general of the Yakshas, along with 28 great generals of the Yakshas, will go to those villages, cities, towns, valleys, forest retreats, hilly medicinal valleys or palaces, making our bodies invisible. We will protect the bhikshu who expounds the Dharma. We will give him protection, hold and nurture him, avert his retribution, and make him peaceful and well. We will completely protect men, women, boys, and girls who listen to this Dharma. We will completely protect those who listen to and remember a stanza of 4 lines, or even a single word from the King of Glory Sutras, Lamb, Golden Light. We will completely protect those who hear and remember the name of a single Bodhisattva from the King of Glory Sutras, Divine Golden Light, the name of a single Tathagata, or the name of this King of Glory Sutras, Divine Golden Light. We will give them protection, hold, and nurture them, avert their retribution, and make them peaceful and well. We will also completely protect those classes of people, households, villages, cities, towns, forests, retreats, and palaces. We will give them protection, hold, and nurture them, avert their retribution, and make them peaceful as well. O Venerable Lord, for what reason has my name become Samyana, the great general of the Yakshas? Venerable, the transcendent victor has direct knowledge of the reason. O Venerable Lord, I seek all Dharma, thoroughly seek all Dharma, and understand all Dharma. O Venerable Venerable Lord, whatever dharmas there are, whatever is the substance of all dharmas, and however they exist, whatever the myriad categories of all dharmas, O Venerable Lord, all dharmas are thus known to me. O Venerable Lord, inconceivable is the illumination of my knowledge with regard to all dharma. Inconceivable is the clarity of my knowledge. Inconceivable is the extent of my knowledge. Inconceivable is the body of my knowledge. O Venerable Lord, inconceivable is the extent of all dharma as the object of my knowledge. O Venerable Lord, because I fully seek, fully examine, fully and perfectly comprehend, fully investigate, and fully internalize all dharma, for that reason, O Venerable Lord, I, the great general of the Yakshas, have become Samyana by name. O Venerable Lord, I will give eloquence to the expounding bhikshu in order to adorn his words, in order that the expounding bhikshu is not physically fatigued, that the senses of his body are healthy, and that he may have immense delight. I'll inject radiance into his hair pores. In him, I shall generate energy, prowess, and perseverance. I shall render the illumination of his knowledge inconceivable, cause him to perceive his mindfulness, and grant him great zeal, so that the King of Glory Sutras, Divine Golden Light, may endure long in this Janvadipa and may not quickly disappear. That beings who have planted roots of virtue under hundreds of thousands of Buddhas may in turn come to listen to the King of Glory Sutras, the Sublime Golden Light, may achieve inconceivable bodies of knowledge, be endowed with wisdom, hold inconceivable masses of merit, experience the inconceivable well-being of humans and gods for hundreds of thousands of millions of eons, keep the company of Tathagatas, and in future times be awakened to supreme and perfect enlightenment, and that all suffering in the world of Yama, hell beings, and animals may utterly cease to exist. This ends the 11th chapter, the chapter on Samyana, from the King of Glory Sutras, the Sublime Golden Light. Chapter 12, chapter on the Royal Treatise entitled The Inviolable Commitments of Divine Kings. Homage to the Tathagata, they are the fully enlightened Ratna Kusuma Guna Sagara Vaiduraya Kanakagiri Suvarna Kanchana Prabhasasri. Homage to the Tathagata, they are the fully enlightened Shakyamuni, whose body is adorned with hundreds of thousands and millions of virtues, and who makes the light of this Dharma blaze forth. Homage to the great goddess Shri, endowed with boundless virtue, grain, and good fortune. Homage to the great goddess Sarasvati, endowed with wisdom, limitless qualities. Then, at that time, at that moment, King Balendra Ketu said this to his son, King Ruchara Ketu, whom he had enthroned, and who had not been long in the royalty. Son, there's a royal treatise called The Inviolable Commitments of Divine Kings, which, not long after I was enthroned, I received from my father, King Vadrendra Ketu. I reigned the kingdom for 20,000 years, according to that royal treatise, and I do not recollect being on the wrong side for even a single moment of thought. O son, what then is this royal treatise? The Inviolable Commitments of Divine Kings. O noble goddess, at that time, at that moment, King Balendra Ketu clearly expounded the Inviolable Commitments of Divine Kings, the royal treatise, to his son, King Ruchara Ketu, in these verses. I will explain the royal treatise which benefits all beings, cuts through misgiving, and extinguishes every misdeeds. O kings, all, one by one, be in a state of delight. Listen with your hands folded in reverence to this entire commitment of divine kings. Here at Vajakara, the king of mountains, when the divine lords assembled, all the world protectors stood up to ask Brahma, the divine king, O Brahma, you are the principal god, you are the Deva king, may you cut through our qualms, may you dispel our doubts. Why is a king born among humans called divine? For what reason is he called divine son? Born in the world of humans, he would be a human king. How do gods wield divine kingship upon men? When the Lord Brahma was asked thus by the protectors of the world, Brahma, the chief of gods, replied in this way, as guardians of the world, ask me thus, for the benefit of all beings, I reveal this sublime treatise. I will explain the origin of kings who are born in every realm of humans, and by what means they become human of their lands, kings of their lands. Blessed by divine kings, they enter into their mother's womb. Being first blessed by gods, afterward they enter her womb. Once born in the human world, they become kings of humans. From gods they are born, thus they are called divine son, granting them a share of royalty and saying, you are sons of gods. The divine rulers of 33 create such human kings in this way, in order to bring misconduct to an end, thwart what is against the Dharma, and set beings in virtuous deeds, so they may ascend to celestial abodes. The king of humans, be they Gandharva, Rakshasa, low caste, human or god, brings the end of evil deeds. These human lords, blessed by devas, to show actions ripening effects, are like parents to those who engage in virtue. They are empowered by gods to show the fruition of deeds, of actions done well and wrongly done in this life. When the lords overtook evil actions committed in their land, and to those who are unlawful, fail to mete out befitting revenge through neglect of unlawful deeds, that which is not Dharma will triumph. Conflicts and clandestine acts will befall the region over and over again. The Lord of Gods will be enraged in the palatial dwelling of the 33. When a king overlooks the presence of evildoers in his region, terrible clandestine acts will ruin and destroy that land. Upon the arrival of a foreign army, the country will utterly succumb. Resources and race too will fall away. Those who amass wealth through trickery and deceit will rob each other entirely of means. When a king does not perform the function for which kingship has been bestowed, he demolishes his own realm, as an elephant lord destroys a lotus pond. Unfavorable winds will arise, unfavorable rains will fall, the sun and moon will be unfavorable, and likewise the planets and stars. Where a king is negligent, famine will descend upon the land. Seeds, crops, flowers, and fruit will cease to grow and flourish. When a king overlooks those who do wrong in his realm, unhappiness will befall the gods in their abodes. The king of gods will lament to each other, unlawful is this king, for he remains on the side of the lawless. Before long, the king will incur the wrath of gods. When the gods reveal their rage, his kingdom will wither away. Mayhem will prevail in the land. By weapons too it will give way. Covert acts, strife, and disease of every variety will come to be. Overcome by rage, the Lord of gods and gods too will ignore him. That land will lie in ruin. Anguish the soul company of that king. He will lose his beloved ones, brothers, and even sons. From his beloved wife too he will part. his daughters will meet with death. Shooting stars will rain down. Likewise, mock suns will shower. Fear of foreign armies and famine will greatly occur. His valued minister, beloved elephant, and cherished camels will die too. People will pillage one another, seizing homes, resources, and wealth. Region by region throughout the land, they will slay one another with arms. Strife, squabbles, and deception will tear apart their land. Demons will enter into the region. Terrible diseases will plague them. Even if the venerable ones, their ministers and retinue too, will succumb to wickedness and deceit. When those devoid of virtue become venerated in that land, those law-abiding and virtuous ones will always be victimized. When the wicked are honored and the virtuous persecuted, three things, stars, water, and wind, will become calamitous there. When the wicked are embraced, three things, the flavor, essence, and power of the Sublime Dharma, the strength of beings, and the quality of the earth will utterly perish. When the corrupt are esteemed and the sublime dishonored, three things, famine, thunderbolts, and death, will occur in that place. Fruits and crops will have no taste and no potency thereafter. Being sickened with disease will fill those regions completely. Large, sweet fruit will shrivel, becoming bitter and sharp. Play, humor, and fun, the pleasure of the previous times now rife with infinite delusion, will lose the touch of joy. Fruits and crops will lose their succulence and force. They will cease to nourish body, element, or senses. Pale and lacking in complexion, beings will become weak, feeble, and without strength. Though they may consume much food, they will remain unfulfilled. Their strength, prowess, and energy will disappear. The country will become a mass of beings utterly without vitality. Multitudes of beings will become afflicted by various illnesses. Due to various cannibalistic deeds, there will arise inauspicious planets and stars. When a king is undharmic and on the side of those lacking virtue, the trivial realms in the sphere of the three worlds will completely perish. When a king is partisan, ignoring those who commit misdeeds, misfortunes such as these in the regions will come to be. When he overlooks those evildoers, a king neglects to wield his kingship according to the role bestowed upon him by the Lord of Gods. Those who perform virtuous actions will be reborn in the devil abodes. Those who commit negative deeds will be reborn among hungry ghosts, animals, and hell beings. When a king ignores those who carry out misdeeds in his realm, through those misdeeds, gods will fall from the heaven of the 33. When a king does not fulfill his duty, he is no longer his forefather's son, and the king of gods will rain misfortune upon his kingdom. When his lands are ravaged by rampant disorderly acts, he should quell these transgressions and encourage positive deeds. Thus have the lords of gods vested kingship upon him in the human realm. It is he who effects fruition for beings in this life, for he demonstrates the ripened effects of deeds done well and wrongly done. For this reason, he is called king, for his own welfare and that of all others, for the sake of order in that land. He is blessed and approved by the host of gods. In order to bring harmony to his kingdom, he should renounce life and sovereignty and subdue the wicked and sinful in his domain. Should he tolerate lawlessness and willingly ignore the unlawful, no other threat could be as terrible as this. As evil and wickedness arise, if those responsible are not indicted, the country will be overrun by utterly objectionable criminals. As elephants demolish great pools, so these regions will be destroyed. As the abodes of the gods perish, the king of gods will become wrathful. Then all things in that realm will be doomed to misfortune. Hence, those who commit misdeeds must be tamed according to their crime. In the realm, protected in keeping with the Dharma, the king should not commit unlawful deeds. Giving up even his life for the sake of justice, he should never succumb to bias. Should even once the king take the side of people related and unrelated, or any person in his realm, he will utterly fall into prejudice. The fame and renown of that king, who is virtuous in Dharma, fills the triple worlds and makes the Lord of gods happy in the dwelling of the 33. Those gods will say, our son in Jambudvipa is such an honest king, establishing beings and virtuous deeds. He rules his realm according to Dharma. Through good deeds, this king helps beings arrive in our lands. He fills the abodes of gods with devas and their divine sons. As he rules his realm according to the Dharma, we, King of gods, are indeed well pleased. Being pleased, the King of gods will offer protection to this human king, the sun, the moon, and likewise the stars will move well, the winds will arise in due time. In due time, too, rain will fall. Prosperity will be ensured for the gods' abodes, and likewise in the realm of the king, gods and God's divine children will always abound in that place. Hence, the king should forsake his own cherished life, but never give up the Dharma jewel. To ensure the welfare of the world, he should seek company with those divine ones, fully adorned with virtue, happy with their people, and renounced from sinful deeds. Protecting his realm according to the Dharma, teaching well the laws of Dharma too, those engaged in virtue should be encouraged, and he himself must refrain from evil deeds. When those who do evil deeds are accordingly tamed, a year of abundance will ensue. Magnanimous will be the king, possessed of renown and fame, who reigns his subject in peace. Thus ends the 12th chapter, the chapter on the royal treatise entitled The Inviolable Commitments of Divine Kings from the King of Lotus Sutras, the Sublime Golden Light. Remember to stay hydrated. Chapter 13, chapter on Susambhava. When I became a Chakravartin king, I offered the earth with its oceans, its 4 continents filled with jewels to all Buddhas of the past. There was nothing loved nor treasured I did not surrender, so I might fully seek the Dharmakaya. For eons, I gave even my cherished life, as I had done for innumerable eons past during the reign of Sugata Ratnashikin. After that Sugata passed into nirvana, there appeared a king called Susambhava. Hailed as a Chakravartin, ruling the 4 continents, he reigned the earth as far as the oceans. One day, that good king fell asleep in the palace known as Jinedragosha. In a dream, he heard the virtues of Buddha. In the middle of sleep, he did vividly see the Dharma teacher, the Dharma preacher, Ratnachana, shining amidst the rays of the sun and expounding profusely this king of sutras. And then that king awoke from his sleep, his whole body overwhelmed with joy. Ecstatic, he came out of the palace and approached the supreme assembly of disciples. Making offerings to the conqueror's disciples, he asked after Ratnachaya, the Dharma preacher, where in this assembly of Sangha is the bhikshu Ratnachaya, possessed of virtue? At that time, Ratnachaya was sheltering in another cave, seated in comfort, reciting the King of Sutras and reflecting upon it. Then they showed the King Ratnachaya, the Dharma preaching bhikshu, sitting elsewhere in a cave, glowing with glory, brilliance, and splendor. Here, Ratnachaya, the expounder of Dharma, upheld the profound sphere of royal activity. He always expounded this King of Sutras, which is called the Sublime Golden Light. Prostrating at the feet of Ratnachaya, King Susambhava said thus, teach me, O you whose face resembles the waxing moon, the King of Sutras, the Sublime Golden Light. Ratnachaya accepted this request, assuring King Susambhava that he would teach, and the gods in the triple thousand worlds rejoiced with great delight. Then that King of humans sprinkled that clean, supremely superb sight with jewel-like water, and fragrant water too. He carpeted the ground with loose flowers and set up a throne, embellishing the throne with umbrellas, with victory banners and thousands of tassels. The king sprinkled that throne with colorful sandalwood powder. Gods and nagas, asuras and kinnaras, yaksha kings and maharagas too, bestrewn that throne with divine mandarava flowers, inconceivable, uncountable devas, as well as hundreds of thousands and millions of gods, hungry for the Dharma, strewn Ratnachaya with solitary flowers as he left his cave. Ratnachaya, the Dharma preaching bhikshu, having thoroughly washed and dressed in clean clothes, he approached that throne seat, pressed his palms together and prostrated to it. Floating in the sky above, the Deva kings, goddesses, and gods scattered Mandarava flowers, and filled the sky with music resounding from innumerable hundreds of thousands of instruments. Then Ratnachaya, the Dharma preaching bhikshu, remembered the 10 direction 100,000 million Buddhas. He ascended the throne and remained seated upon it. Then generated a heart full of kindness for all beings. He perfectly produced the mind of compassion and expounded the sutra to King Susambhava. Pressing his palms and prostrating, the king accordingly rejoiced. Moved by the Dharma, his eyes shed tears. His whole body was overcome by bliss. At that time, King Susambhava, in order to venerate the sutra, took hold of Chintamani, the king of jewels, and made this dedication for all beings' sake. May there now rain down in Jambudvipa ornaments made of 7 jewels and great riches that bring peace and well-being to beings in this world. Lo, on the 4 continents, 7 jewels then rain down, armlets, necklaces, and earrings, food, drink, and clothing rain down too. King Susambhava saw this cascade of jewels raining down upon Jambudvipa and presented the jewel-filled 4 continents to the order of Ratnashikin. I, the Tathagata Shakyamuni, was that king called Susambhava, who at that time completely gave up the 4 lands and the jewels therein. The Tathagata Akshobhya was Ratnachaya, the Dharma preaching bhikshu, the one who expounded well the sutra to King Susambhava. At that time, I heard the sutra and accordingly rejoiced in it. Due to that very virtuous deed, hearing the Dharma and rejoicing well, I have gained this body of golden hue, endowed with marks of 100 merits, beautiful to behold and intensely enchanting to the eye. It gives delight to thousands and millions of gods. When beings behold this body, they will always obtain a body of joy. For 99 billion eons, I became a Chakravartin king. For numerous hundreds of thousands of eons, I ruled as the lesser king. For inconceivable eons, I became Shakara and likewise Brahma. With a tranquil mind, I have found the inconceivable 10 powers whose extent remains ever immeasurable. Equal to that is the massive merit gained by hearing the sutra, then rejoicing, as I desired. I have completed full awakening. I have attained the sublime body of Dharmakaya. This ends the 13th chapter, the chapter on Susambhava, from the King of Glory Sutras, the Sublime Golden Light. So I don't know here. Can you hear? It just started pouring rain as we were reciting this. So you can take that as an auspicious sign. Chapter 14. Chapter on protection called Refuge of the Yakshas. O great goddess Shri, a devout son or daughter of noble family who wishes to make inconceivable great and extensive offerings of resources and articles to past, future, and present Buddhas, and who is keen to know the profound Buddha sphere of past, future, and present Buddhas, should listen to this King of Glory Sutras, the Divine Golden Light, with full conviction, concentrated mind, and attentive ears at the place, monastery, or forest retreat where this sublime Golden Light is expounded fully. Then the Tathagata, the Transcendent Victor, spoke these verses to further elaborate this point. He who wishes to make inconceivable offerings to all Buddhas, and who wishes to know the profound sphere of Tathagatas, should go to the place, whether monastery or dwelling, where the Sublime Sutra is explained. This sutra is inconceivable, for its ocean of virtue is without end. It frees every being from countless oceans of suffering. I have not seen the beginning, middle, nor likewise the sutra's end. The sutra is deeply profound, for there is nothing with which it compares, neither grains of sand in the Ganges, those on earth, in the oceans, nor atoms in the sky are its equal. When entering the sphere of reality, he should go at that time, for there is a stupa, whose nature is Dhammadhatu, unchanging and profound. Inside it, he will behold Buddha Shakyamuni expounding the sutra in charming, melodic voice. There and then he will know this. Anyone who hears the sutra gathers an inconceivable mass of merit. Thus, for astonishing, incalculable tens of millions of eons, they will experience pleasures human and divine. As soon as he enters that monastery dwelling, his negative deeds will fall away. For those who are unable to cross hundreds of leagues, immured by pits of fire, and endure acute hardship to hear the sutra, all bad dreams and evil signs, afflictions of planets and stars, dreadful spells and demons will immediately depart. The moment he enters that monastery or dwelling, inside he should set up a throne resembling a lotus, as revealed to him in a dream. Seated upon that throne, he should thoroughly teach the sutra. He should read what is written and likewise understand it. When he comes down from this throne, although he may go to another place, miracles will be seen upon that throne. At times, the form of the Dharma preacher will be observed. At others, Buddha and Bodhisattva's figures will be seen. Sometimes the shape of Samattabhadra, likewise the forms of Manjushri, and on occasion Maitreya too, will appear upon that throne. At times only light will be seen. At times there will be gods, appearing just for moments and turning invisible again. Praise when seen. Buddhas bring success in all places. Grains and signs of excellent fortune are magical creations of Buddhas. They ensure victory, glory, and fame. Turning back violent challengers, they crush foreign forces completely. Laying battle foes in ruin, they bring victory in war. Pacifying all bad dreams, they annihilate negative actions and pacify all non-virtuous deeds. The whole of this Dharmadeva will resonate with his fame. His enemies will be utterly routed. His foes will be vanquished in full. He will abstain entirely from evil acts, completely victorious in battle. He will be utterly without enemy and filled with supreme joy. King Brahma, Shaka, the world protectors, also lords of 33, Samjana, the chief conqueror, and Vajrapani, the Yaksha lord, Vatapta, the lord of Nagas, Sagara, and the Asura lords, the lords of Kinnaras, and likewise the lords of Garudas, these leaders and others, and all the gods too, will come to worship without end the inconceivable stupa of Dharma Dhatu. As they see beings worthy of veneration, they will be filled with intense delight. All the glorious lords of gods will speak thus to themselves and one another. Behold, all those bestowed with merit, excellence, and glory, men with pristine merit, their faith beyond belief, have arrived at this place to hear this profound sutra. They revere the stupa of Dharma Dhatu, inspired by compassion for the world. They work for the welfare of beings. They are vessels for the essence of that Dharma, which is profound. By entering the sphere of reality into the sutra, they completely arrive. Those who hear the sublime virtue, the sublime golden light, in previous time have pleased hundreds of thousands of Buddhas. Through these roots of virtue, those who have heard the sutra will be granted full protection in the four directions and in all places by the King of Gods and Saraswati, likewise Sri and Vairashvana by the four kings, with hundreds of thousands of yakshas possessed of miraculous power and great strength, Indra, Soma, and Yama, Vayu, Varuna, and Skanda, Vishnu and Saraswati, Prajapati, and Hutashana. These protector of the worlds who are powerful and outshine every foe, day and night will offer protection without fail to those who have heard the sutra, Narayana and Mahashwara, the two powerful Yaksha lords, those 20 others led by Samjana, and hundreds of thousands of Yakshas, possessed of great strength and supernatural power, will offer protection from fear and terror to those who have heard the sutra. Vajrapani, the lord of Yakshas, along with 500 Yakshas too, and every Bodhisattva will offer protection to those who have heard the sutra. Manivajra, lord of Yakshas, likewise Purnabhadra, Kumbhira, and Attavaka, Pingala, and Kapila too. Each Yaksha lord, along with 500 Yakshas, will offer protection to those who have heard the sutra. Chitarasena, the Gandhava, Jinashaba, King of Conquerors, Manikanta, and Nikanta, and Varashadipati too, Mahagrasa, and Mahakala, along with Surana Kesha, Panchika, and Chagalapada, Mahabhaga, Pranalin, and Dharmapala, Markata and Vali, Suchiroma, and Suryamitra. Likewise, Ratna, Kesha, Mahapranalin, and Nakula, along with Kamashestra and Chandana, Nagayana, and Haimalvata, and likewise Satagiri. These powerful beings who overwhelm every foe will offer protection with their supernatural feats to those who have heard the sutra. Anavatapta, Lord of Nagas. Likewise, Sagaratu, both Muchilinda and Elapatra, Nanda and Upanandaka, accompanied by hundreds of thousands of Nagas possessed of supernatural power, will offer protection from all fear and terror to those who have heard the sutra. Bali, Rachu, and Namuchi, Vemachitra, and Samvaratu, Prahlada, and Karaskanda, and likewise the Asura lords, accompanied by hundreds of thousands of Asuras, possessed of great strength and supernatural power, will offer protection from all fear and terror to those who have heard the sutra. Hariti, the mother of the Bhuttas, along with her 500 sons, will offer protection to them, whether they are standing, sitting, or asleep. Chandana and Chandalika, Chanda and Chandalika, likewise Yakshini, Chandika, Kunti, and Kutadanti, the one who steals the glow of beings. Those who are powerful, who overwhelm others, possess of supernatural power, will offer protection in all four directions to those who have heard the sutra. Sravasti, leading innumerable goddesses, likewise Shri, and so forth. Deities of fruits, forests, and crops, those who dwell in stupas, trees, and parks, the wind deity and every deity here, the goddesses and the earth goddess herself, their minds overflowing with joy, will offer protection to those who have heard the sutra. They will bring longevity, complexion, and strength to these beings. With excellence, merit, and glory, they will be adorned. They will pacify afflictions of planets and stars, abolish misfortune, wrong deeds and nightmares. The earth goddess herself, always powerful and always profound, is fully satiated by the essence of the King of Glory Sutra, Sublime golden light. The potency of the earth, 6,800,000 leagues, as far as the Vajra base, will greatly increase. Going down a full 100 leagues, this potent savor will penetrate through the power of hearing the sutra, returning upwards again. It will cause the service to entirely shine. All these gods and goddesses too will be satisfied by the essence of the King of Glory Sutras, the sublime golden light. They will have radiant complexion, be peaceful, satiated, and immensely strong, pleased by varied tastes. The deity of fruit, crops, and forests, and all of Jambudvipa will be filled with profound joy. Delighted by the sutra's essence, they will ensure the growth of fruits and crops, assortments of various flowers, and multitudes of stately fruit trees. Every park, all forests, and all fruit-bearing trees will bloom with flowers, giving off fragrant scents. On this earth will grow every kind of forest and bush, adorned with flowers and laden with fruit. And all of Jambudvipa, innumerable Naga maidens, their minds immensely filled with joy, will approach lotus pools and plant there many lotuses, night bloom, blue and white. The sky will be pristine, without smoke and masses of clouds, free of darkness and dust. Every direction will shine bright with light. The thousand rays of the sun, beautiful with lattice light, profoundly deep in illumination, will blithely rise in that land. The noble sun, the son of gods, residing in a palace of Jambu gold, will be deeply satisfied by the sutra with great delight. The lordly sun will rise in Jambudvipa with limitless lattices of rays shining upon every land. The moment it rises, it sends forth shafts of rays, awakening the lotuses abounding in various pools. To satisfy the whole of the earth, the sun will fully ripen various flowers, fruit, and medicinal plants. In the whole of this Jambudvipa, the sun and the moon too will then shine with unknown glory. The stars, the wind, and the rain will perfectly come. The whole of Jambudvipa will have an excellent year. In the place this sutra is kept, there will always be plenty. This ends the 14th chapter. the chapter on protection called Refuge of the Yakshas from the King of Glorious Sutras, the Sublime Golden Light. Okay, we'll go for about 10 more minutes and then dedicate. Chapter 15, chapter on the prophecy of the 10,000 sons of gods. When the Tathagata observed thus, the noble goddess Bodhisattva, Samuchaya, addressed the Tathagata in this way: O transcendent Lord, for what reason and what cause, and by the consummation and performance of what virtuous deeds, have these 10,000 sons of gods, such as Jvalana, Tarate Joraja, upon hearing the enlightenment prophecy of these three sublime beings, arrived here from the heaven of the 33 in order to listen to the Dharma from the Tathagata? The Tathagata replied, it is this way. In a future time, when hundreds of thousands of millions of inconceivable eons beyond calculation have passed, this sublime being, the Bodhisattva Rucharaketu, will awaken to supreme and perfect enlightenment in the Survana Prabhasita world. He will emerge in that world as Suvarna, Ratna, Kara, Cha, Tra, Kuta, the Tathagata, the Arhat, the fully enlightened one, perfect in wisdom and conduct, gone to bliss, knower of the world, charioteer of men to be tamed, peerless teacher of men and gods. So it will be until Suvarna, Ratna, Kara, Cha, Tra, Kuta, the Tathagata, the Arhat, the fully enlightened one, has gone to the state beyond suffering, the sublime Dharma has disappeared and his teaching has completely disappeared. At that time, this boy, Rupya Ketu, succeeding this Tathagata, will awaken to the supreme and perfect enlightenment in the world sphere called Virajadvaja. He will emerge in the world as Suvarna Jambudva Kanchanabha, the Tathagata, the Arhat, the fully enlightened one. His teaching will reign until Suvarna Jambudva Kanchanabha, the Tathagata, the Arhat, the fully enlightened one, has gone to the state beyond suffering, and his teaching has altogether and completely disappeared. At that time, this boy, Rupya Prabha, succeeding this Tathagata, will awaken to the supreme and perfect enlightenment in the world sphere called Virajadvaja. He'll emerge as Suvarna, Shatara Shmi Prabha Saketu, the Tathagata, the Arhat, the fully enlightened one, perfect in wisdom and conduct, gone to bliss, knower of the world, charioteer of men to be tamed, peerless teacher of men and gods. The noble goddess Bodhisattva Samuchaya replied, thus, these three were prophesied by the Tathagata to achieve supreme and perfect enlightenment. But until then, O Venerable Transcendent Victor, these 10,000 sons of God, such as Jvala, Tara, Te, Joraja, have not extensively undertaken the deeds of Bodhisattvas to the same extent. There is not even a word to hear that they engaged in the 6 perfections in the past. There is not even a word to hear that they completely gave away their hands, feet, eyes, the supreme body part, the head, beloved sons, daughters, and wives. There is not even a word to hear that they gave away wealth, grain, inns, gold, jewels, pearls, lapis, conches, crystals, coral, silver, gold and bronze, and gems. There is not even a word to hear that they gave away food and drink, mounts, clothing, bedding, dwellings, palaces, parks, hedges, pools, and ponds. There is not even a word to hear that they gave away elephants, cows, bulls, stallions, and male and female servants before they received the prophecy of their own Tathagata names from the Buddhas, incalculable, numerous hundreds of thousands of millions of bodhisattvas, for hundreds of thousands of millions of eons, made numerous hundreds of thousands of inconceivable numerous acts of veneration, with all their possessions to incalculable hundreds of thousands of millions of Tathagatas. They completely gave away all their resources that are to be given away completely. They completely gave hands, feet, eyes, the supreme body part, the head, beloved sons, daughters, and wives. They completely gave away everything that is to be completely given away. They completely gave wealth, grain, inns, gold and bronze, jewels, pearl, lapis, conches, crystal, coral, silver, and gold. They gave food and drink, mounts, clothing, bedding, dwellings, palaces, parks, hedges, pools and ponds, elephants, cows, and bulls, stallions, and all male and female servants. In time, they completed the training in all 6 perfections. After completing training in 6 perfections, they experienced hundreds of thousands of numerous states of well-being. O Venerable Transcendent Victor, similarly, for what reasons and what causes, and by the consummation and performance of what meritorious deeds have these 10,000 sons of the gods, such as Jvala, Nantara Te Joraja, come here in order to listen to the Dharma from the Tathagata? Why has the Tathagata prophesied that they will awaken to the peerless and perfect enlightenment when numerous hundreds of thousands of millions of eons have passed? For what reason will they be enlightened in the world sphere called Salendra Dvajara Vati, with the same family and clan of those 10,000 Buddhas named Prasanava Dano Tpala Ganha Kuta, perfect in wisdom and conduct, gone to bliss, knowers of the world, charioteers of men to be tamed, peerless teacher of men and gods. When asked thus, the Tathagata said this to the noble goddess Bodhisattva Samuchaya: O noble goddess, there is reason, and there is cause, and there is the forming and gathering of pure roots of virtue, which have resulted in the arrival of these 10,000 sons of the gods, such as Jvala, Nantara Te Joraja, from the heaven of the 33 to listen to this Dharma teaching. O noble goddess, as soon as they heard the prophecy of these 3 sublime beings, they generated great reverence and faith in this King of Glory Sutra, the sublime golden light. Immediately, they were endowed with pristine minds like stainless, flawless lapis. They became endowed with minds like the sky, lucid, pure, exceedingly vast and expansive. They became possessed of an inconceivable mass of merit, O noble goddess, because the 10,000 sons of the gods, such as Jvala, Nanta, Rate Joraja, upon hearing the sutra, were immediately endowed with pristine minds like stainless, flawless lapis. They received the stage of prophecy, O noble goddess, by the power of the gathering of the merit of hearing this Dharma teaching, and by the power of previous resolve, the 10,000 sons of God, such as Jvala, Nantara Te Joraja, have now attained the state of prophecy to peerless and perfect enlightenment. And what, noble goddess, are those former resolves? This ends the 15th chapter, the chapter on the prophecy of the 10,000 sons of gods from the King of Glory Sutras, the Sublime Golden Light. So I think let us stop here with the reading, and we'll do a dedication, and then we'll continue on subsequent days. We're making good time, so we'll be able to finish in a few days. So sorry. Okay. So first, this multiplying mantra. Om Gadara Vidara Soha Ratna Shakona Tadagataya Apra Tihata Shasanam Om Kakakai Kai Hum Hum Zola Zola Tigata Tigata Pepe Soha. Okay. Oops. So somehow. Okay, and now we'll do a dedication, but before we do that, So even we saw today in what we read, the tremendous benefit of, having even heard one story from the King of Glory Sutras, Sublime Golden Light, right? Or, one Bodhisattva's name. And then it was saying rejoicing, okay? So before we dedicate, let's just take a moment to again rejoice, right? Rejoicing in all of our merits for having recited this King of Glory Sutras, the Sublime Golden Light. And then we can think, from, all these various Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, all these great masters in the past who have, taught the sutra, recited the sutra, meditated on the meaning of the sutra. Let's also rejoice in all of these, various, general the yakshas, all these, earth goddess, so forth, who then offer protection to those who uphold the sutra, the four great kings and so forth. So all those who then, propagate the sutra, help beings, others, understand the sutra, recite the sutra, all those who have printed, sponsor the printing of the sutra. So amazing. Okay. So as you know, right, when you rejoice in your own merits, it's like it doubles. Then when you rejoice in the merits of others, even these great bodhisattvas, it says even an ordinary bodhisattva, because all of the actions they're doing is imbued, motivated by this motivation of bodhicitta, then their merit is so much more extensive just from the power of their motivation. So it says, for ordinary beings like us, right, it would take us something like 13,000 some years, right, to generate the amount of merit a bodhisattva creates in even one morning. And so now when we rejoice in the merits of these great beings, it allows us, even if we only receive a share of that merit, even 10% of that merit, it allows us, as Lama Tsongkhapa says, it's the way to accumulate a lot of merit in the shortest amount of time with the least amount of effort. So now with that merit, we now have to dedicate it in a way that's going to be most beneficial for all sentient beings, right? And the way we do that is dedicate just like this. Due to all the past, present, future merits collected by me, and all the merits of the 3 times collected by numberless Buddhas and numberless sentient beings, may bodhicitta be generated in the hearts of all the sentient beings of the 6 realms, and especially in the hearts of everybody in this world, including all the students, benefactors, and volunteers in the FPMT organization. May be generated in the hearts of all those who rely upon me, all those for whom I have promised to pray, and all those whose names have been given to me. May be generated in my heart, and in the hearts of all my family members, those who are living and those who have died. May the bodhicitta that has already been generated increase. And let's especially add, as Lama Zopa Rinpoche, had done in the past, that bodhicitta especially be generated in all the, political leaders, all the world leaders. And then after the bodhicitta has been generated, then may all of their actions, be only of utmost benefit to all sentient beings and not cause even the slightest harm to a single sentient being. Then let's dedicate for His Holiness Dalai Lama. Incomparably kind and supreme Tenzin Gyatso, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world. May you have a long life, and all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. Then for the long life of Lama Zopa Rinpoche, you who uphold the subduer's moral way, who serve as the bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving, and spreading Manjunatha's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplished magnificent prayers, honoring the three sublime ones, Savior of myself and others, your disciples, please, please live long. Then to seal our dedication with the understanding of emptiness, due to all the past, present, future merits collected by me, the numberless Buddhas and numberless sentient beings which are completely empty of existing from their own side, may I, who am completely empty of existing from my own side, achieve the state of full enlightenment, which is completely empty of existing from its own side, and lead all the sentient beings who are completely empty of existing from their own side to that state, which is completely empty of existing from its own side, by myself alone, who am completely empty of existing from my own side. These next two verses from the King of Prayers. I fully dedicate all these virtues to be able to train just like the hero Manjushri who knows reality, and just like Samantabhadra as well. I fully dedicate all my roots of virtue with the dedication praises the best by all the gone beyond victorious ones of the three times in order to have good conduct. Then for the flourishing of Lama Tsongkhapa's teachings. For the Dharma King, Tsongkhapa's way of Dharma to flourish, may all signs of obstacles be pacified and all conducive conditions be complete. Due to the two types of merit of the three times of myself and others, may the teachings of the victorious one, Losar Dharma, shine resplendent forever. Okay, and then lastly here, let's just also dedicate, so due to all three-time merit accumulated by ourselves, as well as all three-time merit accumulated by numberless sentient beings and numberless Buddhas. May all those beings who have recently died, whether due to the war, due to illness, or whatever condition led to their death, may they instantly be reborn in the Pure Land, where they can achieve enlightenment, or at the very least, may they attain a perfect human rebirth, meet with a Mahayana virtuous friend, as well as the Mahayana Dharma. Practice well, receiving all the realizations, including the realization of emptiness and bodhicitta, and in that way achieve enlightenment in their very next lifetime. Next, let's also dedicate, due to the three-time merit accumulated by ourselves, as well as the three-time merit accumulated by numberless sentient beings and numberless Buddhas, that all the problems that are facing sentient beings in this, the sentient beings of this world in this degenerate time, particularly the war in Ukraine. Then not only that, but also all of the various natural disasters, all the problems and suffering due to environmental degradation, all the problems due to famine, crop failures, all the economic problems. May all of these problems facing sentient beings that cause so much suffering in the world be instantly, right this second, pacified. And may these types of problems and experiences never occur again in this or any of the world systems of 10 directions from now until the end of samsara. Okay, and then, I kind of forgot, but let's also especially, dedicate for all those refugees. I think there's more than 2 million refugees now who have, spread across various parts of Europe. And then also, actually, Tibetan Namgyal mentioned this as well. He had to go. But then there are, over 13,000 very courageous people in Russia, at least 13,000, who were protesting against the war and have now been since arrested. So as we saw in the chapter of the inviolable, commitments of divine kings, then, at the time when the righteous are the ones who are persecuted, then that is showing a real dire future for that country. So now all those who were promoting peace in their own country and are now facing very long and harsh prison sentences, may they also, quickly be freed, receive all the kind of, good treatment that they need. And then for the refugees, well, we've already dedicated that the war end immediately, but then these refugees, may they be able to go back to their homes with dignity, receive all the care that they need, and then be able to rebuild their lives in a way that is most beneficial for themselves and their families. So, thank you very much. We will continue this until, well, one of two things happens, okay? Either we finish the sutra, or if, as we've dedicated, samsara ends and we all attain enlightenment, okay? Then we can, stop even if we're, a couple of chapters short, okay? So either one of those two things. So thank you to all of you, especially the good folks at Tushita for all the hard work in arranging these teachings. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Venerable Namjong La. And we see hopefully all of you again tomorrow, same time, 12 o'clock noon. And today we have another event coming up with Venerable Lexok, who usually lives in the same compound like Venerable Namjong, now far away from each other. One is Venerable Lexok is actually joining us from Italy, where he's translating for a Vinaya course in one of our sister centers. And if you were wondering what that thing emptiness is all about, as Venerable Namjong, there was a chapter yesterday in the Sutra, and today in the dedications, Venerable Lexok will explain it all. So today it's the verses on emptiness from the King of Concentration Sutra. Yeah, so please join us, 9 o'clock Indian time. Venerable Lexok will give his teaching, and then tomorrow Venerable Namjong will lead us again with the Golden Light Sutra. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful morning, day, evening, wherever you are. Thank you so much, Venerable Namjong La. Nice cup.
Yes, be kind to one another. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.